As a consequence, the country is highly dependent on their imports. 83% of electricity and more in the area of primary energy is produced from imports. That's 2009 numbers. In 2010, the DR spent $2.6 billion on oil and gas imports. This is over 5% of the country's GDP. If we go 2 years back, 2008, it was over 9% of the GDP. Why is this? In 2008, of course, you had much higher fuel prices, because that was before the economic downturn. And I think these 2008 numbers give you a pretty good sense of where this country is going to be in 2011 and beyond. The share of GDP used for fossil fuel imports in the Dominican Republic will increase in the future, not decrease, if no significant action to shift away from fossil fuels is taken. The price for a gallon of oil or gas in the DR in Haiti is of course well above the price in the United States and well above international prices. And it goes without saying that this is not good for the competition in all other sectors of the economy. And of course this also makes the country much more susceptible to the volatility of the international fossil fuel markets. So we believe that there's something wrong with that. This country pays an outrageous economic burden by paying other countries to deliver the energy it needs, despite amazing resources, as we will see in a minute. And this hampers the country's overall development path and development goals. So let me tell you a little bit what we're doing. Worldwatch, against this background of our economic analysis, has started to work with a number of developing countries, including the DR, on energy roadmaps that transition their energy systems based on their own interests, because it puts them on a more sustainable, economically sustainable path. Here you see the goals, the overall goals for the roadmaps. We want to highlight the benefits and the importance of increased use of renewable energy in order to build understanding among policymakers and other stakeholders in the country of the potential of renewables and of the necessary steps to make use of these potentials that the country has. We want to build capacity among policymakers and stakeholders to implement the recommendations of the roadmap, and through that facilitate closer collaboration between the policymakers and other energy stakeholders in order to find consensus amongst them. Ultimately, of course, the goal of our roadmap is to provide governments with the toolkit, the political and the technological toolkit to make their countries more attractive for renewable energy investment and to sell their country's potential to developers and investors. The ultimate goal of the roadmaps is action, of course, not just another report. So a word about a strategy. Here's how we do it. And keep in mind, we just started, so I can't present too many outcomes of it yet, but I can present a pretty smart strategy, I hope. We employ an integrated, holistic approach, and the components are different building blocks that inform one another. And I'm going to very briefly talk a little bit about what these building blocks you see here are. We have already started with detailed resource mapping for solar and wind, and we also hope to do biofuels and small hydro. This is done by our partner 3Tier. We also do technical assessments against the background of these resources and the best places for the installment of renewable energies. These technical assessments help to assess the capacity of the grid for handling the increased capacity coming from renewable energy sources, and also assessing how to deal with the intermittency of renewables, because of course this is a challenge. Then we discuss the grid enhancement and extension that will be necessary for an increased portion of renewables in the overall energy supply. And we will discuss storage potentials for those good days, the good times when more energy is produced than is needed. We do efficiency assessments, looking for opportunities for increased efficiency both of the energy system and for end-user appliances. And then we do a policy assessment that will help us to understand what can be done in concrete next political steps. And we will use our insights into best practices worldwide to come up with this policy toolkit. Of course, in the end, it is up to the government to decide what it picks, but I think we can outline what other countries have learned in the past and what would be options for the Dominican Republic. The next component is socioeconomic assessment, so we're looking into the potential for reduced costs, reduced energy costs, opportunities for expanded manufacturing, opportunities for green tourism, opportunities for domestic job creation. And finally, and that's the last step, we discuss financing options, looking both at public and private sources, as well as both domestic and international financing options. For example, under the Green Fund of the UNFCCC, the International Development Banks, and bilateral support mechanisms. I come to my last slide. So this is some of the first results, and they are, of course, from our first component, which is the resource assessment. And this map here must look familiar to some of you already. I was, of course, pretty proud to see the president of CNE already using this map here to the left. Our partner 3-tier has produced this map, and it shows you the solar potential in the DR. In our further work, this map will grow. We will produce easy to use and easy to understand and openly accessible PDFs that show you the country, but that show you not only the solar potential, but also the wind potential, also the transmission lines, the main centers of consumption, and so forth. And you can click through these different layers and put them on the map. And this is very helpful, we think, as a tool in workshops that bring together different stakeholders to demonstrate the potential that is really there. We will then do much more detailed work. For example, we will analyze solar irradiance in different measurements throughout the year. You see this on the right here. Global horizontal irradiance, which is particularly important for PV, direct normal irradiance, particularly important for CSP, and also diffuse horizontal irradiance. Final word, and this is my last slide, on our strategy. We're not just working on this from our headquarters in Washington, D.C., and then present a report in 2013. But we will have a very strong presence here in the country through CNE, our partner, through consultants, through in-country partners. And if you are interested in joining us in this effort, please come to me after this panel, and my colleague Mark Knoll sits here in the first round. Raise your hand while you're filming, Mark. And come to us and partner with us. And we're very interested in where you see the main barriers, and try to help us understand what your thoughts are, how to overcome them. Continuous stakeholder consultations will also help us set the research priorities. We're not living in the dream world here. We need to understand the political realities, and we need to see the priorities of the government to work with them on these roadmaps. With the results and partial results, as well as the final roadmaps, we will organize training workshops to build capacity in the country, and we will train folks to see how to use these maps and see the advantages that we think our strategy, that we hope our strategy will outline. And then I hope we will also at some point have the chance to help advise on the implementation of the roadmap, because of course the final goal is not words but action. So that was pretty much it. You can contact me if you don't have the time to stay until the end of the panel at my email address. You can follow us on our blog called Read Vault. And you can even follow us on Twitter and Facebook. We're all learning. We're doing new social media now. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you to find the best solutions for this beautiful country. Thank you very much.